Welcome to Waddlemarsh. Waddlemarsh is a 00 gauge layout presented in build, so warts, constructional detail and all. Significant portions are as yet to be completed, but here we see some work in progress. It is set in southwest London, not an actual location, but with a small Southern Railway style halt, an electric passenger service. Here we have a substation and a signal box, roughly in the positions in which they are intended to go, and a Southern Railway type 2-bill unit stopping on a down service at the platform. The time frame is approximately early 1960s. It can be a little flexible, a year or two either way. This is a very typical Southern Railway small station of the type found across the network and the region. Most of the structures are made of concrete, which is represented in various forms on the layout. Here we see a footbridge leading from houses on one side of the line to the station on the other, and which neatly disguises the need for trains to disappear behind the back scene. The layout is around 2 walls of a flat, so it has a sharp corner halfway along. Here is a slightly more recent 2 EPB unit calling on the up service and stopping beneath the Bachmann concrete overbridge, which has been weathered and textured by myself. Waddlemarsh also features a small goods yard. This will be a freight transfer location between the southern region and the other regions around London, and allows me to run locomotives based in all the areas around London of various types and classes. The goods shed and most of the structures and rolling stock are weathered by myself, as seen here. There are 2 ways that trains can access the goods yard. Here we see a Southern Region Class 73 electro diesel arriving on the down passenger line and taking the branch into the yard. As the layout is still in build, the electrics are not completely smooth yet. There are a few low power spots which will be attended to in due course. However, the train is also negotiating a sharp curve and would normally travel at quite a low speed. At present, the signals are fixed but not wired in, as are the yard lamps seen here. The time frame allows me to operate some Southern Region steam, which existed until the mid-1960s. This is an overall view of the yard, and here is the buffer stop end with the Ancorton security fencing separating the railway from the backs of the houses beyond. The buffer stops are placed at this stage rather than fixed, and feature a variety of rail-built and sleeper-built types. Here we see an Eastern Region locomotive of Class 14 departing for Bow or perhaps Stratford, with a train of largely empty wagons. This allows me to demonstrate the variety of motive power which could be found in a fairly small location. Again, there is Southern steam waiting on the loco spur for the next call of duty. And here is the Class 14 departing on the freight line, which will be the main point of entry and exit for the goods yard. The crossover and the track in the left foreground form the yard head shunt. Now we have a view here of the Bachmann waiting shelter, which is weathered by myself. It is a standard product except for the weathering and for the self-adhesive and custom printed target style name signs. The concrete footbridge here is a kit bash from 2 kits required to span quite a width of track in a very awkward location on the curve. It has been painted, textured and weathered by myself. And here we see some weathered track, including Southern Region style conductor rails. This is at a point where the conductor rail exchanges sides from one to the other, showing the runoff ramp on the top rail, and the lower rail would have a runoff ramp nearby. Some detail of the platform. The fence is piano wire and brass rod. The supports are Dart Castings products, and the platform surface itself is thick card, painted, textured and weathered. Here it is with the white safety line added, and another of Southern Region's finest steam locomotives running through, despite the fact the line is electrified. A view towards the 10 Road main fiddle yard, which is located underneath the cabin bed, so everything is squeezed into a very small amount of space here. The yard actually is 2 separated 5 road yards, and this is an overview of the goods yard area, showing that there are 2 concealed sidings for the passenger line behind that back scene. That allows me to run one train down and a different one back, rather than the same one out and back time after time. Here is the control area with the Morley 4-track controller and an array of switches for the points and crossings. At this stage nothing is fully wired up, but this is where it will all live. At the moment the controller is wired to the track and nothing else is set up. So that's an overview showing how tight the curve is around the corner of the room, where the controller will be, and a couple of passenger trains waiting for passengers who have yet to arrive at the station. An overview of Waddlemarsh Halt, showing how the Southern Railway constructed their halts on concrete posts with concrete slab platforms. And on this occasion, train arrives behind a Southern Region Type 33 diesel with oil tanks, and we can guess that this may have come up from Fawley Refinery. The passenger train stops in the background on the up line, taking passengers in the general direction of London, but this will be a branch line service and they will need to change somewhere to reach the big city somewhere in the distance. The wooden supports will be trimmed down in due course. They are Bachmann carriage shed walkways that have been cut to suit. Here we see another view of the goods yard with some steam traction shunting a couple of wagons out of the shed. Again, all weathered by myself, and with the area in the foreground still to have its scenic detail finished. The D600 warship departs for somewhere on the Western Region with a train of cement wagons. Now those are detailed up for Delabole slate and cement, so we can expect that they may end up somewhere in Cornwall. Now that is departing onto the down passenger road. That will have a signal at the opposite end of the platform, allowing trains to make that move legitimately, which would otherwise appear to be wrong line, and cross over onto the up line to reach their onward destination. So quite a flexible little layout. It is all run on DC. It's a mixture of code 100 and code 75 rail. It basically built from whatever I had to hand without major investment. And here we see a 4-car train stopping on the down platform with a small diesel shunter attending to some ballast wagons on the head shunt. The back scenes are a pre-printed product. They are called Into the Town. And here is that 2 EPB unit again making another journey on the up line. Plenty of greenery in the background, as would be very typical of the outer areas of London. The pan view there gives an idea of the construction of the platform: concrete supports, concrete slabs for the surface, and some wire rail to prevent people falling down off the back of the platform. Here we go. Thank you for visiting Waddlemarsh.